so much less damage would have happened if we had just been told, we heard you guys, we're going to work on it.
At this point, we're asking ourselves, how can we just do this completely differently? This is a problem, it's our problem, when we need to solve it.
Worst thing you have added to Clash Royale?
I wiped everyone's decks on Trophy Road.
That was you?
I'm the deck destroyer.
Hey everyone, welcome to Clash Royale Overtime. This is a new podcast series that we are doing a pilot of today. We'll have a mix of people from the team coming in to talk things through. And we also have some creators that you may recognize joining us today who will be asking us some spicy questions along the way. And we've got a lot to cover and a lot of interesting topics coming up, so we will dive into it. But I think first it would be good to do, a round of intros.
Hey, I'm Jake, SirTag. I create daily content on YouTube, and I've been doing it for like 9 or 10 years.
Hello, I'm Alpe from IRL API. I write blogs and do a lot of stats and nerdy stuff.
Hey, I'm Morten. I'm Clash Royale pro player and also a content creator.
Hi, my name is Shane, YouTube channel in Shane. I upload videos every couple of months or, whenever I'm feeling like creative.
And I'm Emilia, the community manager here on Clash Royale. You may have seen me in past TV Royales and now also this. So welcome everyone.
Yeah, glad to be here. Looking forward to it. I got some important questions that I'm like really excited to ask and stuff. So
yeah,
Some spicy ones.
Oh, they're spicy ones. Looking forward to it.
I hope so. I think it's a good opportunity for us to go over some of the hot topics that maybe we haven't been able to touch on so far. In some of
I'm hoping to like represent the community and just do a good job of like asking some of the questions that like are on everyone's minds right now. So
yeah. And to be clear, it's not just me here on the episode. I will have team members joining me somewhere over here when they can. So there'll be rotating team members coming in and out to answer different types of questions in their areas of expertise. And we have our first Clash Royale team member in the hot seat. We have James joining us. And we'll have Tom joining us a little later on in the podcast. So maybe let's start here. Hello, James.
Hi.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm James. I'm a designer on the Clash Royale team. I've actually been on the team for about 5 years now, coming up to 5 years. And I work right now mainly on Trophy Road, on economy, on progression features. But I've kind of worked all over the game in the time I've been on the team.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that players might recognize that you've worked on?
So my first, one of my first big feature in the game was Masteries, way back when. Then the original Path of Legends, I worked on that, and Battle Banners and Badges. Like that year, I guess I did quite a lot of design work on the meta side.
yeah, all cool things.
Yeah. I suppose it's a good place for us to start. And I think in this first section, it might be just nice for us to have a reflection on the past.
Yeah.
Maybe with a bit more of a narrow focus on, the past year or so, because I think we've had, a lot of things changing in Royale in that time and also a lot of learnings along the way. So yeah, I feel like that's a good place for us to kick off today.
Yeah, I got some questions there for you. I think we might as well just start out with some of the heavy questions first. Like what's on, I think everyone's here, like the community has some questions in mind that I want to ask right away. So I think they're pretty important. But when we look at 2025, it was a monumental year for Clash Royale. Many highs, many lows. When we look back and reflect on last year, like what were some things that worked well? What were some things that didn't work well? Like what were some of the primary like learnings overall through the year? Yeah,
I think the big one maybe was just how much latent passion for the game still exists. That's like something that I think we allow ourselves to forget too often, is that there are so many players still sort of just waiting in the wings to come back for when the moment is right, when there's that excitement around the game. And that was really cool. How much of that actually can be driven not necessarily by specific kind of game features or even like new game content, but just like memes and virality and just like shareable stuff that isn't down to something new that we've added, but just is some content that you guys even have cooked up, and it makes the rounds and suddenly everybody's kind of talking about it again. These are like the big things off the top of my head. I think maybe the launch of Merge Tactics was obviously really cool because that taught us that there is this appetite for some content that is a bit further away from like Royale as it's traditionally been. And the other side of it was some of the stuff we've launched that didn't go so well, but we can maybe
get into
cover that
now.
in a second.
Yeah, for sure. We had a crazy year. It was awesome. And then we had like the update in December, which was like level 16 in Heroes. When we look back at like the impact level 16 in Heroes had, like what is the overall assessment of like, you know, how Heroes are now, like the state of Heroes now that we've had time to like have some fixes on the Heroes?
Right.
Are they performing like as you expect, or are there further changes that you kind of like wish to see with Heroes?
Well, there's a few sides to it. I'll maybe start with the launch of Heroes and how we look back at that, because I was on the team when we launched Champions.
Yeah.
And I remember still how exciting that was. I still remember like the reception of Champions and how positive that was. So for me, going into the end of last year, the idea of Champions, but it's cards that you know and love that get the abilities, felt like a really kind of positive opportunity. It felt like it was you know, it had the potential to be something really exciting and huge. And now, like looking back at it, it was kind of like gut punch to get that initial reaction of like, no, we didn't ask for this. Like, why is this here? And I think that was like the overwhelming sentiment that we felt at first was, no, like do the other stuff some more. Like, why are you going over to this thing? And yeah, we reflect a lot on why that was. I guess I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Like, do you feel like that was the kind of heart of the reaction at the time, or was there more to it than just this is a direction that we didn't ask for?
I think it was like the implementation of it, where some people would get a hero and they would be like, damn, that's not the hero I wanted. And then, especially if you got the giant one at the start, there wasn't as much adaptation with it. So even if like some of them were really good and fun, you couldn't experience the hero mini P.E.K.K.A because like the randomization of it, unfortunately, the first impression just wasn't good.
The initial hope was with the randomness that we'd be able to have like a more dynamic process of players like collecting every day like progress towards these things, so that it wouldn't feel as like slow and chunky as Evos and Wild Shards did.
Yeah.
But, well, two things went wrong with that. Firstly, we just didn't stick the landing anyway.
Yeah.
I think like that could have been like just the numbers and the pacing that just didn't work out. But secondly, the way that heroes work in terms of the UI, in terms of just how you build them into your deck, is close enough to Evos that when the collection system was different, players were sort of taken off guard. I think there was this expectation, this looks like Evo and it's kind of shaped like Evo. Why can I not collect these in the same way?
Yeah.
And that's another really big learning.
Yeah.
I think like truthfully, the card concept of heroes is really cool. I think it's actually even better than Champions. The fact that you can, you know, have something that you're attached to, that you don't have to level up a brand new card. Like the concept's better. It just is unfortunately the first impression. And when people have a bad first impression, I think they stick with that.
I agree with that a lot. I think like the concept of heroes overall, I think is kind of cool on paper, but I think it was just like, it came down to like the implementation. It was just so hard to get. Earning hero fragments was just so like slow initially, and then there was also like the duplicate like aspect that you can get like a double hero.
Right.
And then I also feel like because like level 16 also came out in that update, that like, okay, players are already upset because it's like now we got level 16, and now it's like we're upset with level 16, but now like, and now heroes is just like kind of gets attached into that. So I think like on paper, like if heroes were like, you know, some of those issues were different, then overall it's a cool concept.
Do you think that if Heroes launched with the system that we've got them to now, that the reception would have been like a whole lot better?
I think if level 16 also wasn't in there as well, like if it was just Heroes with like the current implementation of Heroes, I think it would be received better. I think like whenever we make changes into Clash Royale, it's like there's always going to be like some sort of like pushback with change. But I think like it would have been better received.
For me personally, I feel like the biggest issue with heroes, in my opinion, is like that they're too similar to champions. So like champions were like the nice thing, like wow, that wasn't like happening before in the game. So like we got heroes which have like the same ability. So I feel like it kind of outshines champions at the moment. So like people don't really use champions anymore because like heroes are better right now. So I feel like champions are now less exciting. even like they had like this like the thing before they were like the only ones in the game with these abilities, but now we also got like heroes, so champions feel like less valuable in the moment.
Yeah.
I get the impression that there's like a collective mindset that players sometimes want something new because they are a bit bored, and sometimes they want fixes for old stuff, and it's like a coin flip, and they all move to one side or the other, and sometimes it's a bit unpredictable. There's not a really strong reason for one or the other, but everyone joins in the same side, and that's when you get a bad feature, or sometimes you get a good one, like champions.
Yeah. I think that Morten makes a good point, is that like, champions are cool. And then like, if champions had not existed and then heroes were added, like maybe it would have been more of a novel, exclusive, exciting thing.
Right.
And then also with the cadence of like, evolutions were released, like, I don't know, it was like a year and a half or whatever, 2 years before that. But they started to feel like they were in a good place. Because I remember back when Evos first came out, it was a similar sentiment and a similar pushback to what Heroes had. Maybe it's like we weren't quite done with evolutions yet to transition into Heroes. So I think that played a part into it. And then maybe also just like the concept of some of the hero abilities was just like really kind of like unique and like far-fetched for like what Clash Royale characters can do. So it kind of like pushed the needle a bit, maybe too quickly, too far in terms of like gameplay. Being like just different, like.
And I also think like the hero concepts that are coming out now, I prefer them way more. I like them way more. Like I think the Dark Prince was like really fun in my opinion. And I didn't like the mini P.E.K.K.A. example, like with the healing effect. Like people were already complaining about like Evo P.E.K.K.A. with the healing effect was like terrorizing the meta, and like everybody hated it. So I think it was like a bit, not the best starter heroes in my opinion, or like the best abilities. So that was like kind of, you were already like, not really giving it a chance.
Yeah.
I think that players are like more receptive for card enhancements rather than really weird stuff that sometimes doesn't fit in the game.
Yeah.
So when something feels really off, I think it's easier for them to criticize it and be more negative.
I think that's like another really important learning is probably if we're going to be more experimental with gameplay, if we're going to like go further from stuff we've done before, that attaching that to something new, some whole new like line of content is really risky.
Yeah.
Because if there is any sort of caution or like nervousness about that new content, it's just another reason to be worried about it, right?
And I also think one thing that we forget to mention is too is that they just the hero slots was like big difference. Because right now we have the flex slot, which I think is like a brilliant solution. But back when Heroes first came out, it was just like 2 slots and that was it. And it was very like we were very bullish on like it's going to be 2 slots. This is the way it is. And I think a lot of the feedback was like this is too much too quickly. Maybe it should be 1 slot for a while. And then we kind of just like kept going forward with that 2 slot mentality despite community feedback. So I think it's just a lot of like compounding issues that kind of contribute overall to this massive like change in community sentiment.
That's like also a question with which I might ask, like with Evos, when Evos came out, we started with 1 slot and then we added like a second one. What was like the main reason we started with 2 there with like heroes?
In the long run, I guess we wanted to set expectations as early as possible that we don't want this to be limited to 1 per deck. We want this to have the same long-term appeal in terms of building up a collection where you're going to have a few different ways in which you could put a deck together with these as Evos. But in the end, the learning with the slots comes down to sharing earlier and being like a lot more open with you guys, with other community figures, to just make sure that we get that feedback on how this, not just how this feels to play, but how this is going to be received and how this is going to be interpreted by the community when it lands.
Yeah, I think that was a really kind of, if you go down to the core of this, is like a really key part of what we learned from this window and how we are changing things like pretty fundamentally within the team to do things differently for future content. Yeah. It's like, to sit down and have these conversations, I think is one part of that, but it's also, where can we incorporate people even earlier in the design process so we can kind of catch these things early and get that kind of intuitive feeling baked into the design of what we do. I think that's really important.
One question that I'm still interested in trying to get an answer to is how fast would be too fast if everybody just had access to everything straight away? Yeah. Because like some of it is players saying, hey, like you're releasing stuff really quickly and I can only collect one of these like every month or two. And so I feel like my set of options is kind of staying narrow.
Yeah.
But I know at least more from like the more competitive and the pros, it's like there's just going to be too much new stuff happening and there are too many permutations. There are too many interactions to have to keep up with. And it's not clear to me which is like the more prominent problem that's put forward.
Yeah.
I think that the heroes releasing and adding a whole bunch to the game, the faster you release them, the better it was, at least at the start, to fill the amount of decks that people could play. So people weren't like, oh, my deck doesn't have a hero accessible. I have to randomly fit in a mini P.E.K.K.A because it's the best card. And then none of the other ones like Giant, like literally wasn't very playable comparatively to the others. The fact that you added more made the game better. So I think for newer features, to make sure that everyone has options in their decks, I think it's actually very important that you release more quickly, even though it might be harder for people to process. I think that they will adjust and get used to it. But if people don't necessarily have options and their decks are just kind of pigeonholed into something that's unviable, they're going to be very frustrated, quit, or leave and just be angry. I think that's one of the main things that I'm actually kind of really happy about, is that you guys seem to be listening to community feedback more and like implementing things. For instance, I never thought that you guys were going to change the slots down to 3. I was flabbergasted. I was like, this is the most important thing for me as a player.
Yeah.
And I try to communicate a lot and it was listened to. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because cards kind of felt like cannon fodder and you would have 4 slots of really special things.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 just felt like you're just cycling to the really important cards. And
Yeah, and that's also
good.
a really interesting design to come to for the flex slot, to come to that solution, knowing that, while heroes are unpopular, it's also, a lot of people at that point have collected quite a few. And so it's a hard decision,
Yeah.
even to go down to 2 Evo slots and 1 pure hero champion slot. You have to really think about what you want to put there. And so I think it was a nice compromise. I think a really elegant solution to
it was
come to
awesome.
that.
It's
By the way, like, well, go on.
it was like a really easy thing to be like, screw this, I don't like this, fix it. And like a lot of times people just say, fix it, here's something that is a problem, and they never offer a solution. To solve the problem, it actually takes a lot to actually implement something that works.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that you guys came up with that, because you can still use both the heroes and enjoy the new feature while not like completely taking over the game.
I was going to ask like a really small question, because I see a lot of players asking for the slots to be switched. Like, do you think that's viable? Is that in the roadmap, or what do you think? Like having the wild slot in a different place?
I think it's viable. Honestly, the only thing probably holding us back is the ratio of how many people would like really get value out of that change compared to how many people would have their decks like messed up and jump straight back into battle.
Right.
And I don't know if there's like a sensible, I guess we could like swap the cards as well, but that's like an extra migration step. It's just
the way I see it, you are going to have to do it sooner or later, so you must have to get on with it. So
It gets me
it
as
can be
well.
painful, I get, but maybe you should do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
For us at Royal BI, it's also challenging because we have to reorder the deck
Right.
slots.
Yeah.
So it's also painful for us, but I think it's important. So yeah.
Okay. Let me take that one back.
Okay.
So we talked about heroes in depth here, about like the update, but there's also one other change in the update that was like negatively received, and that was like level 16. And so when we do an assessment, not only in 2025, but like beyond that, I feel like we have like a history now of like we've been adding a new level in every couple of years, because it's having some sort of vertical progression possible for players is an important aspect of like in almost any video game. But based off of like the reaction to like all of these new levels, it feels like we've been kind of going through the same process of like elite levels comes out, players get upset, and then there's like this period of time where it's like, okay, then we move on, and then we have like a new level 16. Based off of like the reaction and like how things have happened with level 16 and level 15, has that changed the team's perspective or approach to how new levels are like considered or developed in Clash Royale?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. you're right that for some years now, we've acknowledged that we do need to keep having some goals for players to chase. And when I talk about players here, I think it's easy sometimes for this picture to build that everyone could aspire to get to like top 1K in ranked, and that's like everybody's goal. But the player base goes way beyond the kind of hyper competitive, and for a lot of players, just like maxing out a deck is like the long-term goal. But despite that, we've not managed to find like a formula for extending progression that doesn't result in these points of like tension and frustration. And if I'm like totally honest, at this point, we're asking ourselves like, how can we just do this completely differently?
Yeah.
Because it's clearly costing a lot more in terms of the experience that players are having than it's gaining in terms of just continuing to add like more goals for players to chase.
No, I think that's really good to hear that like now the team's sitting there going and be like, hey, we need to do this differently. Like this is not working the way we're doing it. We need to like sit back and take a look at it and be like, hey, let's just like go back to the drawing board with this and like reconsider the entire approach to it kind of thing.
And I think as well, it's like, you know, how can you make it an additive, genuine additive to a player's experience?
Like I think we all want to like have fun with the game, and like we want to be excited about a new feature and be excited. Like if we are to get a new level in Clash Royale, we want to be excited about that. Like we want it to feel rewarding and as like a new addition to the game, and not like a negative that's like now you have to like go through this whole thing again.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, how do you change it in a way that it is a positive for players? And it's a very difficult question to do because of the way Clash Royale is designed. And I know like it's easy to say for players just to be like, oh, give everyone max level cards and like we'll all be happy. But that's not the reality. Like if you've ever played a video game like with cheat codes on, it loses all of its fun almost immediately because it doesn't feel like a game anymore. And for me personally, like I know everyone's different. Like everyone plays for different reasons. But I like having something to do in the game, something to work towards, like a reason to play and log on and get rewards and all that kind of stuff. So it is an important aspect, but it needs to be implemented in a way that's like fun for players, right?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that analogy, because for some players, being given like a maxed out account would be like being like skipping all of the grind and being able to play the game like the way they want to play it. Yeah. And for other players, it would be like skipping straight to the credits.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like beating like you beat Clash Royale when you have your deck, all of your cards maxed out.
Two conflicting goals. There are some players who want to complete the game, and there are some players who want to play the game for years.
Yeah.
And mixing the two together, it's really complex.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
Yeah.
Because for one player base, it's like that's when the game starts.
The opposite.
Game starts when you have the collection maxed, and for the players, that's the end goal.
Yeah. Right.
And so, how do you balance those two like player needs?
You want to play forever, or play a year, and finish as soon as possible.
Exactly. How do you balance those player needs without alienating the other player base? But like, you know, it's a challenging question. But then also like it needs to happen. But then it's like we need to figure out how to, like, if we can't have the solution, then we don't force it until we do have that solution.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big learnings as well. It's like, you know, it's not, you can't just keep repeating the same kind of thing. It's like, okay, we need to like have a bit of a fresh outlook here. And
just to be clear, I think for the Supercell model, it makes more sense to have a game that is play forever more than a game that is finished and completed, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we have to choose one type of player, I think there's a clear winner, right?
Yes, but also like as many players as possible. That's the dream.
Yeah,
like we have to aim bigger. We have to try and make a game that has that broad appeal. Yeah. I don't think fundamentally there's anything wrong with the idea of saying this is a game where there are always going to be more goals to chase. The problem, as I see it, lies in having that get in the way of the experience of our like most dedicated, most vocal players.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the problem we're trying to deal with.
I think it's tough because you can't really pick like one player base and then just be like, hey, this is the one we're servicing. It's like you want to offer like things in your game for a wide variety of player bases. Like everybody plays for different reasons. And so you need to have something in the game that can cater to everyone. And like, obviously it's tough to like be as broadly as appealing, like everybody that play the game can have a reason, but like that's an end goal, right?
For a lot of players, it was like moving the goalposts. So like you finished your game, you're like, I'm set, I'm done, I'm in a great spot. And then they're like, wait, now my musketeer dies to fireball. And that would be like the type of interaction that would cause people to like quit or be really negative or just lash out because they felt like they earned something. And then it was like, damn, it's taken away. And it's like some people had different viewpoints on it. And it was definitely like different amongst different people. But it's cool to see that you guys like reflected back on and you're like, we're probably not like wanting to do the exact same thing again because it didn't work like 2 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, makes me happy to hear the different direction.
Despite, contrary to popular opinion, we really do listen.
Yeah.
We really do listen.
Yeah.
And we hear this, like it was pretty clear what the community expected and what they felt. And so we were very conscious of that. I think something to keep in mind just generally is, like game development takes time and we were already thinking about like a lot of the pivots that we might want to make like based on that early reaction, but to some extent, changing your roadmap and reallocating the development work on certain things is like, it took a little bit of time to get there. So for me, at least, I feel like, to do something like the mid-March update is really meaningful. There was a lot of really important threads in there that I think really addressed a lot of the major concerns that we were seeing in the time, but it doesn't mean that's a completed list.
No.
And it's like we have to keep listening to that and keep following through on, even looking beyond what the feedback directly says into like what really are the pain points.
Yeah,
here
exactly.
and how can we address that?
No, I think that mid-March update was amazing. I think it introduced a lot of good changes into like the update. I think like the big issue was just like you mentioned like you're always listening, which is important. But then sometimes it's like if you're talking to somebody and they're listening to you, but they don't respond to you. Like, do you feel like they're listening? And that's the important thing is like the community needs to feel like there is like this open communication, which hopefully like this podcast is like part of that, like going forward of like what's being changed and like communication with like Clash Royale.
Completely on the same page about that. I think it was something that we were really lacking in and that we want to obviously change. So it's changed a lot about the way that we, think about how we approach this work internally. It's changed a lot about, how can we communicate these things and like set expectations better and get a shared understanding because like we all want Royale to be great, including us on the team.
Exactly.
And, we all want Royale to be really flourishing and as many people play it and enjoy it. So, I think when we can get to that kind of common ground, it's like we might not always agree on the same solution to the problems, but if we at least know what the things are that we're addressing together, then we can have, I think better dialogues about things moving forward.
Sounds good. Now, what I'm interested in learning about especially is, okay, looking forward, like going forward now, like what has changed in Clash Royale, kind of like prevent that from happening again, or like our outlook, or like what kind of like just anything in Clash Royale, like can we look forward to in the next like near future?
I think like one thing right away is what Emilia just described, right? That we're in this mindset now where we don't expect to be able to predict how players will feel about anything that we might dream up for what's coming next, that we have a lot more awareness of the kind of the value, I guess, of being able to reach out to you guys, to the rest of the creator community, and just get that early impression of how does this next direction look. I think that's like a really important part of how our thinking's starting to evolve. Yeah, I mentioned we need to solve this progression challenge, and actually I want to sort of reiterate, this is not, when I talk about that challenge and the different kinds of players and reconciling these things, this isn't me giving an excuse for why this is never going to be solved. This is me saying this is a problem. It's our problem when we need to solve it.
Yeah. And it's honestly like, it's a really complicated problem. Like it's easy to think that it's like, oh, the solution's just so easy. Like don't release new levels. But it's like, the reality is it's like so many players would get bored. Like I have so many friends that like, when their decks start getting even close to max level, when like the progress starts to slow down and it takes like too long to like earn that next upgrade, they already start they start getting bored and they start playing as much. And so it's like, balancing the need to have like that chase in the game while offering it in a way that's like fun and exciting.
And there's another dimension to it as well, that when we think about having those additional things to collect, or additional progression pieces in the game to work through being exciting, what we normally mean is like new gameplay.
Yeah.
And we know as well there is not an unlimited appetite for the rate at which we throw new gameplay into the game.
Exactly.
Right? There's a pace at which maybe players will say, no, like I can't keep up with learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we also know that if players aren't collecting the new stuff quickly enough, that's not great either.
Yeah.
So this is like the kind of nature of the multifaceted problem. We need to keep adding new stuff. It needs to be interesting gameplay stuff, but players need to earn it at a certain rate, and it also needs to not be introduced too quickly.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of moving parts.
I don't know if there's any more we can talk about in what's to come this year. I don't know. I suppose what's interesting is by the time that this comes out, maybe we're starting to hint towards the next new card and all kinds of things, which I think is quite exciting. But I don't know, James, if there's anything else, throughout to the tail end of 2026 that we can get excited about.
I would love to just like completely
Evil heroes.
just like troll the gameplay guys by just talking about the new card right now. We're so I can't. I really wish I could do that.
Just bleep it out.
Well, I guess one topic that might be interesting to talk about is the outlook for the seasonal arenas and Trophy Road, because we're about to go out with the new setup with the 2-deck road, and that's something that we're interested in kind of continuing to iterate on. But I'd love to hear the sort of initial thoughts from you guys about like how that looks and maybe the direction that might go in if it turns out to be something that players are really into.
I mean, my first reaction to like the new seasonal arenas was like really positive. I think it's a cool feature that I think like holds a lot of like promise and potential. I would love to see seasonal arenas that have like different rule sets and like different like whatever, like maybe your evos are already like always evolved in battle or whatever, or like different card slots for just that one seasonal arena. Like I think there's potential with the seasonal arena feature to like do a lot more and introduce like fun and unique gameplay in just that particular arena that doesn't bleed out into like affect everything else. So I think it's a really, really cool feature that has a lot of potential.
I found it a bit weird that, for example, I think, one of the core concepts of this new arena is that it forces players or incentivizes them to try more decks, which is more horizontal progression. And it seems like that's something that is really important for more casual players which are more one tricks than more experienced players who are more versatile. They copy decks, they try new decks all the time, they adapt to the meta. So it's, if I would try to push new decks for players, I would try to use it for more casual ones because they are the ones that are more stick to one deck. So what did you like try it with these players instead of the others?
So I guess the thing we're most interested in understanding is how far down the engagement spectrum the interest in playing multiple decks goes. Mm-hmm. Because we have a sort of a vague understanding of a hesitance for most players to try, honestly, even like new cards, let alone entire new decks. So having it open to a number of players that will kind of gradually increase over time by having it sat at the end of Trophy Road seemed like a good starting point. Mm-hmm. Because I think even for players who finish Trophy Road, not everybody then goes on to play ranked. Like a lot of people will try out ranked and then just bounce out of it because they're like, okay, this is a bit much for me.
Mm.
It's also, it may seem obvious, but it's also, quite punishing. It's like if I'm new and I have this thing I really love to play and all of a sudden I can't like play it in the way that I used to, then of course that feels like a poor experience.
In my opinion, I think the idea is pretty good. was it like also the similar goal with masteries? Like when masteries came out to kind of not force, but like give players the chance to play different decks to get also rewards for that. So I think personally that's like a good idea because I feel like this is like kind of an issue which Clash Royale has, that people always stick to one deck, of course for reasons. So I think it's like important that you guys try out to find out a way to make sure that people also try out different decks in a way.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, and it's like players grow with a deck, they identify with it, and it feels like the later you do that forcing, it's the more difficult you do it. So waiting until you are really proficient in the game, maybe it's not the best, you know, like maybe you should try to do it a bit earlier and it's easier. Like you're trying the most difficult ones.
Yeah,
I think conversely though, like if you make it to the end of Trophy Road, you likely have more cards upgraded to like then do a different deck. Whereas if you're like a newer player, you might still only have one deck upgraded. So it's like balancing like exposure to different decks and different cards versus accessibility to those decks and cards, which are like separate issues, I think.
Yeah, I guess to Alpe's point though, really, if you look really early in the journey, players are playing different decks because like the card levels are kind of
everything's just
all over the place.
easy,
So it doesn't actually matter. So it's not like this is a forever problem. It's not like players begin with this mentality.
We created the problem.
Right, exactly. There is definitely something to be done to say during the journey, like we're encouraging this in a way that sort of keeps it moving.
Yeah, I think it's at a certain point in progression, you reach this point where it becomes too hard to upgrade your other cards to keep up with your main deck. And now that becomes a point where it's like you lock in that main deck and then you pour all of your resources into that one deck.
It makes a lot of sense.
Like at mid-ladder. So it's like you experiment for a bit, then you lock in. But it should be like, maybe if it was still more accessible, like even at that mid-ranges, then you wouldn't have to lock into that one deck permanently.
Truthfully, I think it was like by far the best part of the update. And like the main thing that I've been seeing on other content creators' pages is the same thing that I thought, where if you actually have level caps at level 15 for everyone at the very bottom, like they get the lowest possible level they can have is level 15, and they're like kind of forced to choose a different deck, like at least they're able to try different things. And they are actually making progress with cards that they're not going to get screwed over on lower levels. So I think that was like one of the best things. And also like, I felt like the community feedback was at least listened to a lot in that. So yeah, I just really appreciate that. And I'm sure that most people will when they start to play it. I think it was one of the better solutions. One of the things as a player though, it does feel kind of weird to have like the levels. Well, the levels are great, but like the trophies to go down to 0 again. Yeah, like it's a bit awkward to be like talking to your friends again, or have someone come up to you, pickleball or something, and be like, "What trophies are you at?" I'm like,
30, yes,
20. Like, so that would be the only downside. Is just like having a rework on that feels a bit more awkward, but the way that it was approached and the sentiment that was listened to, like that was great.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be like kind of cool to have like a consolidated score of your trophy road, your ranked score, everything together in a single score that measures your skill as a player. And it will also incentivize you playing more things because you would increase your total score as well.
I agree, because like if you talk now, like back in the days was always like how many trophies do you have.
Exactly.
Right now, like
was so
somebody
important.
asks me how many trophies I have, I'm like, I don't even know, because I'm personally not playing Trophy Road, but like other players are, but I'm like playing Rank, I'm Ultimate Champion. So that would be really nice.
And
I really like the
it
idea.
creates like a huge disconnect between the top players who care about ranked and the casual players who say, "What ranked? What's that?" I don't even know. But
that makes a lot of sense. I think we have sort of, we go through these cycles maybe of, as we explore different solutions to these problems for different players, the pieces kind of build up complexity, and then once those solutions become like more mature, once we're happy that they stay in the game, then we sort of consolidate and simplify them and try to collapse them back together. And it definitely feels like that's overdue for Trophy Road and Ranked.
Yeah.
I wanted to just expand on something there quickly, which is to the point on feedback. The more feedback you give us,
The better.
the better, because again, we want to do this in service to you and your gameplay experience. So, you know, the more you can equip us with what you like, what you don't like, and why, the better changes that we can make as a team. It's really important that, especially if the more specificity that we get in terms of like what's working and what's not, is like empowers us to move in ways that is better for everyone. So
For
like,
sure.
I really encourage everyone listening to this to please tell us what you want and what you don't want.
And I think the mid-March update is actually a really good example of that.
Yeah.
Like the feedback that we got from December, from January, was very specific, and it was very clear like what the pain points were around heroes, around slots, and we were able to kind of focus a lot of time on trying to solve those problems because they were so clear. So
Yeah. I think that raises like another question that I have. Kind of like we've kind of touched on it already, and that's just like with community sentiment, community morale right now. It's just like it feels like it's at a really low spot, even despite the March update. And you kind of touched about like wanting more feedback, wanting more like details about everything, which is like a great like first step. And I think just the community overall is just kind of interested in like learning, like going forward, like what has changed in like the team to like better value and react to the community morale and community sentiment. Because you mentioned that like the feedback was very important to help shape what the March update would have been. But then the community didn't really feel that until March, right? So it was like we were kind of left in this like limbo period for a while of like giving feedback, not really hearing anything about it, kind of like are they listening, are they not listening? And like I feel like so much like less damage would have happened if we had just been told, okay, we heard you guys, like we're gonna work on it. Give us a little bit of time to like figure out the exact like solution, but we do hear you and we like are gonna like work on it, kind of thing.
yeah, I think we've definitely been too hesitant to make these kind of like open commitments, or we have been. And I think that's definitely something that's improving. I feel like honestly, like just having a bigger team has made a huge difference there.
Yeah.
Having folks like Emilia and her team able to be there and like have the messaging get clearer and us able to be more open as a result.
Yeah.
But also to do more, to be able to do stuff like we did in March without that interrupting what we were working on for the update that's just launched.
No, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think as well, like part of it is coming from Clash Royale, but can also be, something that I can do personally because, I'm quite active on X. I'm quite active on Discord. If you're in the server, you'll see me there and you can ping me and ask me a question because it's not always about these big things either. It's little questions. It's little quality of life questions.
Yeah,
and
everything is important. Everything matters. Right?
Everything matters. Everything matters. And so I think like just us as a team, it's really important for me as well. Is like just to be really present, be really consistent.
Yeah.
Not shy away from things. Like show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that like it's just critically important at least like
for sure.
in terms of how my role was considered throughout the rest of the year.
So another big question for me is like the pivoting capabilities for Supercell. If there are problems, like for instance, for level 16, like if you see a problem, is it going to be easier for you guys to pivot in the future potentially to address those? Like, or are you going to be more locked into like, this is our timeline, we have to like stick to this, we have to ship this update and we're like locked into this feature? Because sometimes it did feel like you guys were locked into something and you were like kind of tied to it more than anything else. And I like obviously like eventually it is all ironed out and fixed, but sometimes that felt like that was the case before.
Yeah, I guess there's definitely a point at which it becomes harder and harder to change direction. In principle, there's never anything stopping us from saying, nope, cancel the whole thing. But like the kind of investment gets bigger and bigger. I think the biggest one often actually lies in things like the campaigns and the videos, the teasers, these kinds of things that we do because they take a lot of time and resources. But to your point, the important factor here is when do we learn the things that would cause us to pivot? And how can we shift that to be earlier? I think like the big learning from last year is we should be having these conversations sooner. We should be ideally, and I guess this is part of what you're talking about, Shane. It's not just about talking to you guys either. It is about how how quickly can we make ourselves confident enough to say to the community, all right, this is what's coming.
Yeah.
This is what's next. And that gives us, immediately a read on how it's going to be perceived when it turns up. So.
I kind of want to use that as just a small jumping point because I think maybe it's interesting for people following along at home who don't have context on the way that we work. I think that, obviously you guys as creators, you see a bit more of how things come about, but it's not like we design which new cards are going to be coming up the month beforehand. It takes a long time, right? To design a card, even conceptually to design a card, it's hard to settle on a good, compelling design. Even for things like heroes and evolutions, you have a base card, but like to find something that feels like it works is a long process. And then there's art.
Yeah.
And then there's marketing.
Yeah.
and those beautiful animations, they take a time to produce.
Yeah.
So, oftentimes we're working like quite a few months in advance when it comes to like what a new content piece is. I think that for me, at least, an interesting learning from this past time is just like to keep that diversity a bit sooner. So that, it can be easy, I think, to overcommit maybe to a new thing. And I think we did see that with heroes. It's like, I agree that, adding a lot of heroes quickly increased gameplay diversity, but at the same time, there's still an appetite for other types of content that maybe could have been served, differently in retrospect if we were doing things differently.
And just to add on to that point, the different moving parts coming together nicely is another thing that I think requires us to think further and further ahead. Yes, we can release a cool hero with some amount of notice and we can make a cool video for it, but can we have like a great season that surrounds it? Can we have a game mode that really like shows it off well? All of these things together, I think, is the place where we're trying to get better at, and that does take a lot of lead time.
But that's really exciting too, because then it becomes, okay, as a player, what I'm seeing on social media or the thing that captures my attention, then I see it in the game, then I'm playing it, then I'm in a mode. And so your experience like across whatever Clash Royale means to you is one uniform thing. It's not like what you see is then disconnected when you jump into the game. It all becomes one. Yeah.
I do have a final question for you, James, though. It's a bit of a tangent here. We talked about like 2025 and then like looking forward, like what has changed in Clash Royale. And then in the intro, you kind of talked about how when we looked back at last year, there are so many factors that kind of applied to the growth of Clash Royale. And one of the most surprising or biggest ones was like the virality of it, the memes, the TikToks and all those kind of things, how it just like exponentially like just blew everything up. With that in mind, I feel like when you look at like the future of Clash Royale, like considering that plays such an important role, it feels like over the last like several years, like the social element of Clash Royale has really just fallen to the wayside. And what like used to be like a very like monumental part of like Clash Royale, the Clash Royale experience. Like for me, my fondest memories of Clash Royale is like getting together with like clan members and like doing clan battles or like doing like leaderboard, like ladder battles and spectating each other, giving each other decks and just like coming together as a community and feeling like part of that community. But it feels like that community like engagement and like feeling has kind of like deteriorated over the years because like the social aspect of Clash Royale feels like it's been a bit neglected. So I guess my question for you is like going forward, is that something that can be considered more of like a priority or like a pillar in like the Clash Royale like experience of just bringing that social element back?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think the biggest part of that maybe is the shape, I guess, of the social features in Clash Royale were kind of templated on Clash of Clans and this whole idea of like clans being at the core of social. And even outside of the context of Clash Royale, I think that idea of like fixed groups has started to sort of fade away in just the way that people interact and connect online. It's starting to feel a bit dated. And so that's part of the kind of direction that we were sort of starting to move in with the changes to the social tab. But what I guess we're really keen to learn is what are the most important ways for players to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because I think clan wars, those features have a little bit of nostalgia attached to them, and I'm the first to admit that like clan wars has been like untouched for way too long.
Yeah.
I think it's something that has this sort of awkward chicken egg thing of like, yeah, but it doesn't get that much engagement. Yeah, but if you don't touch it, like no one's going to engage with it.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that. I think the important thing is that we have a sort of clear strategy for what we want like social to be.
Yeah.
Because it's a very isolated game.
Yeah,
at its
it
heart.
is,
Like
yeah.
it's a 1v1 experience. It's just you and them, and like we have the spectating, but to your point, like that, it feels like somehow the kind of connectedness of it has died down.
Yeah.
And I would love to get to the point where there was this feeling that you could just jump in and you like your friends would be playing and you could just like engage with that.
Yeah.
That feels like the piece to me. Like the link with competition, I think, is a big part of it. We've talked about, for example, whether we could make a big deal out of a battle that is going to promote you to the next arena.
Yeah.
And if your friend can see you're in that battle, then they'll, okay, there's high stakes here. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
and then I lose and they all laugh at me.
Yeah,
in clan
exactly.
chat. I go back in clan chat. I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I let you all down.
I let the self down.
What
I let
if
the
like
clan down.
in the clan chat, like when we got a new arena, it was like pop up like, boom, this person just reached a new arena, like whatever, like a
Right.
little, like congratulatory like message or whatever, like.
But even there, I would argue, like, does that have to be limited to the clan?
Yeah, exactly.
Can that be
Or your
something
friends
that
or
is
whatever,
just like is
yeah.
visible to everybody? But yeah, it just feels like these sharing these like high stakes moments feels like maybe the one of the most powerful things.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear what people think about these sorts of ideas, because I know that there is a lot more potential for like social connectivity in the game, and it's just a case of trying to build that in a way that works for everybody, because the worst outcome would be like we completely overhaul the system and then it's only really engaged players that are all connected, and
Yeah.
then that's not going to give us the kind of reach that we saw last year, because like the people who are like interested in Clash Royale but aren't playing like really hardcore, that they're not gonna be in that system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about adding some game modes that you could interact with your friends or your clan? Like, I don't know, like more 2v2 things. I know that there's also a limitation when you have a bunch of game modes, because you need to still have players in every facet of the game. And if you add like infinite game modes, you're not going to have instant queue times. But like, for instance, you have 3 people from a team and each is like a Pokeball. Essentially, you lose, then you lose one person, and you could essentially like sweep with one person. It's kind of like King of the Hill almost, with 3 people on a team. That'd be fun. Like player versus environment, like having multiple people, like maybe beat a boss, maybe having like a free-for-all where you could team up with friends a little bit, or have that and just like be very casual. I feel like there's just a lot of different game modes or things that Clash Royale hasn't necessarily explored, probably because like you guys haven't had the time to do it yet. But I think there's definitely some cool things that you could add from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of cool concepts there, and yeah, the idea of finding game modes that are more interesting to play than just like 1v1 in a team, or like 2v2 as it is, which is just like 1v1 with an extra tower. Like there's definitely more to explore there, and I won't pretend that we're not exploring that stuff. I think that is like that is really fertile ground for game modes. It's just a matter of finding the right one. It's just a matter of finding the kind of that magic when we play test it in the team, where we're just like, okay, this is the one. This is really gonna make a difference.
I would just like say that, tying back to what we mentioned earlier about greedy games that are based forever and you don't want to complete them because they are pleasant and you like them, having a social experience, it's seems essential for that, like a pillar for that experience that you don't want to end because they are your friends and you want to keep hanging out with them. So
Yeah.
Friends kind of force you to play the
exactly.
games too.
Like when I say like social, I mean like beyond clan wars. I think it's just like the overall like feeling part of that community and like building in just different like features or aspects of the game that reinforce that feeling, right? Because I feel like the stronger the community is, then like even if there are like down periods or like updates that don't necessarily hit, the community still feels like they're part of that and they're willing to like wait for like the next update to come out or whatever. And so like reinforcing the strength of the community just through various methods is like what I mean when I say like the social aspect of Clash Royale. And I think like hearing your answer is it's really cool just to hear like how like the importance of like battles and stuff like that, and how do we like, you know, bring that to people's attention, and how do we get people engaging outside of clans, because it's not just clan based, because clans have so many limitations. So I'm just kind of hopeful that becomes like a major like kind of priority going forward.
And actually, just to add to my answer based on what Alpe just said, I think it is really also a kind of an area of interest to us how players engage with the game together, like outside of the game.
Yeah.
For example, one thing we're talking about doing some work on is the not specifically like the private tournaments feature, but the tools that players can use to organize tournaments. Like you should be able to like be with a bunch of friends in a social setting and say, let's just throw a tournament together.
Yeah, or like let's just do like a best of 5, but like have it like organized in game or whatever.
Right.
Or like 5 people, let's just do like a customizable like just in person like event.
Yeah, exactly. And opportunities like that, I think, are where I connect like social to Royale at its best.
Yeah.
Or like a King of Dill against like playing with 2 friends, you're playing against like 3 other friends, like just
the hill format,
sitting in a Discord at night and just like playing against each other, like having competitions. I think that would be so fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And if someone was able to like donate a pass route to the winner in the game, it'd be like, I spent money on this, but like it's not actually like technically money, but donate rewards that they had purchased in game for the winner. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I can see that. Like, everybody kind of put their stakes in. And
Exactly.
I have to say, unfortunately, although I wish that we could continue to talk and talk, and there's so much more to ask and to go through, we might need to say goodbye to James.
Yeah.
Because,
We'll miss you.
Because not forever, but just for this podcast. Because, you know, we are kind of having a rotating roster, and we'll have another team member joining us very, very shortly. So I guess before we say goodbye to James for today, maybe there's some quick fire questions we want to ask to get to know James better.
I don't think my questions are not quick fire. They're pretty deep questions. So anybody else have quick fire questions?
What's your favorite game mode?
1v1.
Nice. What's your favorite game outside of Clash Royale?
Of all time, maybe Hearthstone.
Oh.
What's one thing you really want to add to Clash Royale?
Level 17.
Go to 20.
Can I go back in time?
You know what?
That's not a quick fire answer. I'm sorry.
I did have a question that was like, if you can go back in time to any point in Clash Royale's history and prevent something or change something that was changed, what would it be?
Okay, let's do that. I'm going back to the launch of the game, and I am adding best of 3, like
Initially,
right, really early on, and just kind of having that as like a core part of the game right the way through to the end.
Cool. I like that.
We will move on. So thank you, James, for joining us today.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
I hope that this is not the last time that we'll get a chance to come on a podcast like this and talk together.
Thank you so much, guys. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thanks.
Thank you. So for this next section of the pod, we're going to have a different member of the team joining us, and we're going to introduce Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm the live ops manager on Clash Royale.
What does that mean?
It's a lot to do with the events and the calendar, kind of making sure the seasons actually start.
Okay. Do you make game modes?
I do not make game modes, but I choose when they run, and how they run and what format.
Okay. So what are some things that you've worked on?
More recently, the win streak event, so victory run, and the album event, and then a lot of these kind of crown chases that you see inside the game. Lots of those. All the rewards.
All the rewards.
Most of the rewards.
Okay. Well, I think that for this particular block of the podcast, we're going to dive into something that's been on a lot of people's mind, which is skins and cosmetics.
Ooh.
I know there's been a lot of interesting questions from the community around this topic, seeing how things go. So I don't know, where should we begin?
I can start.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you see a lot of players that propose the idea that cosmetics should be like the main monetization of the game. And do you think that's a viable option? Or do you think like progression has to be the core of the game?
I think it depends on what the cosmetic is. I don't think it would ever be the full like dominant monetization strategy for the game. Even when you look at something like emotes, banners, tower skins, like they have a limit. They have saturation to them. Like what kind of cosmetics were you thinking is the top?
Well, we think that emotes are the one that players like the most, but maybe there are other options in the future that we can develop.
Yeah, I know that one thing that comes up all the time is troop skins, right?
Yes, for example.
Group skins.
Troop
yes.
skins. And I even know that if people have seen the China build, they're even having troop skins inside China. And I always see the questions of, why can't we get this in the global game? But what are your thoughts on troop skins?
I mean, they're interesting. I'm not sure how many players would pay for them, but I would like to see some tests or some tries to see how they perform.
I think I've seen, some different opinions on this topic because, in some games it can become hard to tell the difference between troops, right? I think we saw this already kind of happen just between, star points and heroes, where this kind of golden motif is making it a bit hard to have that instant gameplay readability on some of the characters. So I'm interested in what your takes are on that. Do we see it as something that could maybe detract maybe from the competitive or the higher tier gameplay experience?
I think even amongst like content creators, like when we have conversations about skins, many of us don't even agree on like whether we like really want skins in the game or not. Like some of us are in favor of skins, some of us are like, you know what, it too much of an impact on the readability of the game, makes it too hard to like understand like what a card might be. So lots of even us are like divided on like whether skins are a good idea or not. And the problem is that like once you do it, you can't really like undo it in a way. Like once you put skins in the game, like they're in the game, like you kind of have to support it. And so you have to be kind of really sure that it's the right choice for Clash Royale before you do it. And because Clash Royale is a very competitive game by nature, it's hard to like implement a skin that can affect that competitive nature of the game. So you have to be really, really sure that it's like the right choice.
Yeah, for me, I honestly think it's cool if you could mute them, like almost like emotes, but you toggle them on or off if you're a competitive player and you don't want to get distracted and you're like, oh, why is this battle ram looking like a pencil?
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. Just mute it or turn it off. And I don't know if the tech is there. I mean, that's an easy like thing to say and not necessarily as easy to do, but in the dream world scenario, that's what I'd like.
I imagine tech could be built, but I think like, I agree with it that like, personally, I'm in favor of skins. I like skins because I'm a more kind of casual player. I like having cool like skins for my characters. But I think like there's ways to get around that readability issue in terms of like maybe just don't design a skin that's like really confusing for a card, or like Tag said, have a like button that you just press and it's just like maybe the skins just disappear. Like it like just the same way you have the emote button, just mid battle. If you're confused, just press this button. Boom, skins disappear. They're regular skins. Your opponent can't even tell. They don't even know that you press that button. It's just like, it's just for you only. And it just persists every battle. You just don't see skins anymore.
I think it's a really cool option. I think without the audio cues and visual cues, sometimes you might not know what it is.
Yeah.
It also is a lot more worked when you have something like evolutions and heroes on top of the card. So when you take Knight, for example, you would need a skin that has all three variants of the Knight. And whether it's the same skin in some other way of signifying it's going to be a hero, you'll know when everything starts coming towards it. But
I think that's another interesting thing is that like right now with evolutions and heroes, they kind of have this iconic like skin already like in the nature of the card feature. So like when a card comes in and it's kind of like purple, you know that that's an evolution version. Or when it comes in and it has these gold features, you know it's a hero. And so like the readability is there in like an instant. You can tell in like a half second like what kind of variation that card might be. And so when you add skins to the equation, it can make it a lot harder to understand, like, is that the regular version of the card? Is it the evolution? Is it the hero version? But I do think that there are ways to like navigate around that. It's like maybe the evolution skins always have still those purple like variants to it or features.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could customize animations too. Like the Sparky shot would be like purple or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you would definitely, for some cards, you would know instantly what it's going to be, especially with Mega Knights, like knocking back troops.
Yeah.
But It's, like, what would be the skin? Like, what kind of skins are you expecting? So, like, what would be your favorite skin if you were to make one
I've
skin?
seen some of the China built skins are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like they almost even border on like too like hardcore of a skin for like readability concerns. But like, I don't know, like for my example is like the Evolution Executioner is such a cool card design. Like it's got these tattoos that kind of like glow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would love to see like more variations of that with skins where it's like you still know it's an Executioner, but it just looks really cool.
That'd be super cool. Yeah, I'd be more interested on a more competitive scene, and let's say CRL has skins. Like, would it need to be that when you're competing, its skins are off, and maybe the players actually spectating see the skins? But like, how would you?
Yeah, it also kind of depends for like, I think like for a player itself, like I think it should be off because I think it kind of also puts you off and stuff. But I think it's like also hard to tell now because we're not used to it. So maybe it's going to be different then. But also I feel like might be like there need to be a possibility to have it off like maybe for viewers as well, because maybe it's really hard to follow the stuff, what's going on and so on. So I think it's like really hard to say. Like I feel like this is also the reason like why the team is also like thinking about like why should we bring it, should we not? And also creators, we're always talking about it because it's like really hard to say now if there's like a ton of stuff going on the board, like a ton of troops, to see like which type of troop it is. So I think as a creator or like as a competitive player as well, there are like some downs and upsides for that.
Agree. Yeah.
I think as well, we shouldn't limit our thinking on cosmetics to skins. I think it's natural that our minds kind of wander towards that. It's a very common model in a lot of games, but I think there's still a lot of untapped space in Royale to explore more personalized customization of, your deck, your arena, perhaps your, your loadout and all of these things. So I guess, if you guys had a dream cosmetic, maybe it's skins, maybe it's not. What might that look like?
I think beyond just like troop skins, I think like the King Tower, like the King on your tower is like an untapped potential right now because like we have tower troops for the Princess Towers, but the King is always the King. And like I don't know what players see as like their person in the world of like Clash Royale, or are you like controlling the Clash Royale universe? But for me, I feel like the King would be like the best like personifiable like of you in the game. And so like if you could customize your king to whatever you want, make it a queen, make it whatever with different skins or cosmetics for the king, I don't think that would affect like the readability of the actual battle, but it would allow you to like customize your kind of like account as you like.
True. Yeah, I mean, even when you look at merge tactics, right? Like that is something that we have experimented with. It's more of a slow-paced game where you have the time to know that, okay, this ruler is long, but with a different skin.
Yeah.
But one of the problems we have with tower skins and king skins, let's say, is that they're always facing away from you.
Yeah. That's
Like
true.
they're only ever for the other player.
Yeah.
So yeah, if someone can turn those off as well, then like you don't know if they see it. And you also like, why would you buy the skin? I guess, is it for you or is it to show off, or is it this kind of pride thing?
Right. And also in that sense that you have to think that you can only buy one tower skin because you only have one tower skin. So that in a way constrains how many you can buy. And for example, we were talking earlier about troop skins that has a lot more of horizontal progression. And with emotes, for example, you have a really long collection and you can use many of them during your battle. So that's really a constraint that there are some cosmetics that you can only use one, and that really limits how many you can buy and how many you can use, right?
True. Yeah. Tower skins have the benefit of the randomizing. So you can pick your favorites and every game you'll cycle.
Yeah.
Something like banners are like you scroll for hours to find the right one.
Yeah.
Now we have favorite button, but it's hard to, once you've locked it in, it's hard to pick a different banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, for me, it would be kind of cool to have like maybe different towers. So you can choose like for the right Princess Tower, you can choose like this type of skin, for the left one, this type of skin. So you have different sets for like tower troops. I think this would be kind of fun to customize that a bit more.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to just see things that are not actually impacting the gameplay. For me, tower troops, I wasn't a huge fan of because each time that you learned a new interaction with the cannoneer, you're like, wait, this one-shots wall breakers. Wait, now it doesn't one-shot wall breakers. And you had to learn every single interaction with spells, plus like how many shots it kills a troop. And it was like kind of overwhelming. So if you were to change like the King Tower, hopefully that wouldn't like have any ramifications of like new things to learn, because there's so many cards in the game already. Like, it gets overwhelming quickly. So if you were to change other parts of the arena, like maybe some tiles on your side of the arena to be like some customization from either your banner or like a profile picture or something like that, that you could change every match that's actually visible. Because for banners, like we see it in the profile loadout and we see it like very shortly at the start of the game. And to see customization have more of an impact for a longer period of time, I feel like that would just definitely be something that resonates with me more. And I feel like I have more of a impact in my customization instead of just like a very short stint of it.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen it in Clash of Clans, for example, when players customize their own arena, they have their own constructions, they have their own ways of putting their walls and all their decorations. And that's something that every player that faces them can see. So that's really valuable. And in Clash Royale, things are quite hidden in profiles, and you don't see them when you're facing opponents. So
Yeah. Do you think that if something like that were to happen, I'm not saying that it will, but if it did, would you see that kind of happening in certain modes, certain parts of the game? Because I know like part of the trophy road experience, right, going to the next arena is that you feel it's different, right? You feel almost a sense of progression because you're kind of moving between these things. So at least when I think about this kind of concept, I think about it in the context of like, you know, friendlies and tournaments and things where like, you know, it's kind of your own personal experience. But I'm interested in what you all think of that.
No, I think it's a good point. I think like the sense of progression, like as you get through the arena, as you see it changing, that's important. I think like if you were able to like customize the arena or whatever, it would have to apply to like different game modes where like it's more casual, like you said, friendly battle or whatever. But I think it's a really cool, like untapped like market and like customizing your side and like your king and like your arena and like, what if even like your home screen or whatever, like you could have like your own customizable home screen. Like we have every season, we have this cool like season, like loading screens, the arena, the music and like the overall cosmetics for the entire like season. It feels like those are so cool, so much work going into that. And then like by the next season, that's all gone. And then we have like the new season stuff. But like, what if I really liked that season? Like, what if we were able to like collect that somehow and then like keep it and like use it somehow like permanently? It'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think the loading screens are something that we put a lot of time into, and you see for a brief second.
Yeah.
Depends how fast your internet is.
Yeah.
I think these are something that you could customize. Even things within, let's say, clans. Like, can you build something together as a clan that you is customizing?
Yeah.
Like inside the battle, can you destroy a tower and change the FX? Like when you destroy towers.
Yeah.
I know that Rocket League with their goal explosions is something that's similar.
That'd be kind of cool. Just how like an emote that comes on like just like dunks on your opponent when you like destroy their king tower.
The ultimate BM.
Yeah.
And also if you win or you lose, that you could have different animations at the end of the game.
Yeah, like different finishers. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's very interesting.
The other thing I wanted to ask, I wanted to see like the limitations of like Clash Royale's code base. Like how hard is it to draw the skins or create the skins? Because I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, I was talking to Drew and he was like, yeah, we have to like hand draw the skins compared to Brawl Stars. You just put it in a rendering thing and it's 3D and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, we do still have that limitation, you know, for some of the older sprites. So yeah, that is one complicating factor. But something that we've learned is even in moving to having more of the 3D models, which, you know, like the heroes are, it's still not a fast process to develop a skin. You know, even on a 3D model, there's quite a lot of work that goes into that from you know, like designing itself, which takes a lot of time. There's a lot of like process just in that. And then, you know, once that gets into like development, you have to do texturing and you have to do the modeling and all of these things. It actually ends up taking probably as long as a new troop, maybe even to produce a skin. It's like, it's not a, it feels like it's something that would speed up the workflow, but that's not necessarily the case. Yeah, I wish that I could have given, you know, a process of improvement there. Maybe marginally, but yeah, it is still somewhat of a limitation for us, I would say.
Definitely. And then even like there's parts we have to mirror the tower skin itself. So like, you can't really have superly different like princess towers as well. But it's a kind of thing where if there is a belief and we have ideas for how to improve it, like we have to prioritize and get that work in. It takes up the whole update or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
for one team.
Is this where we say small indie team?
Yeah.
A small indie team of like 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more than that.
Yeah, it's true. But there's only one update, and of course you don't want to pack everything. So.
Yeah.
And in the more cosmetics, like having things that you can download over the air is great. But the more you pack into the actual update, the bigger the update is and how long it takes people to even download.
Yeah.
Like
the
a new
file
player
size.
coming in. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of stuff kind of stored in the cloud or whatever, like that you can download over the air. Like if it's your favorite loading screen, you download it and then you wait for it. But
Yeah.
having all of it packed inside the client is just very big.
Yeah.
It's very big.
Yeah. But overall, I think like customizations and skins and stuff like that, like it's still very like much like an untapped like potential in Clash Royale. Like do you like to feel like the team's just like, is it really open to exploring more of that and just seeing like, do players want that? Like, and just testing the waters with that? Is that like a possibility?
I would say so. I believe that there are some people that chase cosmetics. Like even when you look at the types of rewards that can come into events, like it's progression or it's cosmetics. Like they're the two main types. And if you don't want the emote at the end of this event, then you're not going to want to complete the event.
Yeah.
So there needs to have some depth. Like especially with the limitations we have in our current cosmetics. Like emotes have the same deck problem that Trophy Road has, let's say, where once you have found your favorite 8 emotes, like it's hard to really switch out your favorites.
Yeah.
You pick a banner, you stuck. Like maybe your randomized tower skins, maybe you find your favorite one. Maybe the new season has the best one. So we always need to explore different ways to kind of find things for players to chase. Even not on the monetization side, just for players to want to complete events and engage. So
it's very true. Because I feel like even now, like playing, it's just like, it just feels like, rewards, like chest, and stuff like that. I'm like, it's kind of just cool if there's just like different things to like achieve in the game. Like obviously we want rewards. That's like the primary factor. But still, sometimes just having things are like nice. And like you said with emotes, like I have the 8 emotes that I want. And like when I see an emote, I'm like, man, I don't really care because it's like, I already have the 8 that I like. I don't really need anything else in there. So having like more things to kind of like reward myself for playing would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I would say as well, we're always kind of thinking of these things and prototyping things.
Yeah.
And, all of us on the team are big players, and we play a lot, and we have a lot of opinions, just like all of you do about the kinds of things that we want to see in the game. So we're always exploring those things. But to your point earlier as well, it's hard to put it back in the box once you start a new feature and you put it out. Then you can't really reverse doing something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would have to be, I think, quite intentional. Perhaps there's a way you could experiment with it in maybe in certain modes it can appear or things like that. And maybe that's a way that we could, dabble in introducing some things without committing, across the whole game experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would love to see Clash Royale just like test the waters a bit more with like different things just to see how it does before like fully committing and like adding in troop skins, for example. But just testing the waters in different ways just to see how players respond to it, if they like it or not.
For sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I feel like we may be coming to a natural kind of end on cosmetics. So I don't know if there's any closing thoughts before we move on to the next block. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Any skin ideas? What's your favorite skin? Like I want to see
Wars skin.
Like
Mega Knight.
Mega Knight. I want to see like a Thor Hog Rider, just like suit, like just like armored up and just like.
Oh, that's an interesting one that we didn't touch on, which is IP. IP skins.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt, E-Golem. That's the kind of one you need.
Elite barbarians with lightsabers. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
True.
Again, it's not something that we're thinking about right now, just to be clear. But I don't know how I would feel about that personally, because I feel like, Royale has such a character to it that, it kind of takes away from, I think, the core Royale experience. But again, I'm open to thoughts on this, and I'm sure maybe you guys have opinions as well. I would love to hear them, but...
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a fun one.
Ooh. Ready, Tom?
For me?
Yes, Tom, this will be your favorite topic.
Oh my God.
What's going on with that tab under construction?
We're still working. It's a big construction project. It's been, I believe I saw on Reddit the other day, it was the 1-year anniversary.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was removed. There were reasons obviously, and we can go into why it was removed. But there's never been something that we've prioritized to put it in there. Like the reason it still exists is symmetry. obviously. Like you want to have 5 tabs, a battle in the middle. When you remove the tab, make maybe the clan, some people have said even clan and social should be different tabs. But we wanted to put something that actually is useful there. So
yeah, well, maybe we can dive into that a little bit more, because maybe not everyone following along has the history on why we were trying to solve something, taking away that tab, and maybe what our thinking about it is moving forward. Because we have some good learnings, I think, from that decision.
for sure. Yeah, there was a lot of updates last year. Mostly for people that don't know what the tab was, it was the events tab or season tab. So a lot of these seasonal game modes like 7x Elixir and all this kind of stuff lived inside of this tab. So the mainstay of that tab was the season shop. So I don't think anyone's heard of the season shop.
No,
but
of course not.
But this was essentially you would play those modes, earn seasonal tokens. You could even play classic 1v1, classic 2v2 there, and you would earn seasonal tokens to spend in the shop.
That sounds amazing.
It
That
sounds like a
awesome.
great idea, right?
It sounds awesome.
Until for some players that want all of the rewards in the game, like you have this whole side activity that you have to do. You sort of grind. So one of the main objectives of that change of removing the tab, removing the season shop was, can we give those rewards to as many players as possible? So by playing how you want, which is Trophy Road, or these kind of seasonal events like fun casual modes, you can progress, you can earn rewards. So that's when we introduced things like the Crown Chase. So moved a lot of these rewards. I think the wild shards went into the pass. Elite wild cards went somewhere else at that point. But yeah, there was a lot of rewards that we kind of moved into events. So trying to streamline the process, and they included removing chest timers, removing chest completely, and trying to make it so you just jump in the game and play. Whatever you want to play, you get rewarded the same way as everyone else. So that was the intention. It seemed to have streamlined this process, but of course people want the old stuff.
Yeah.
How do you see, we have things like the festival market, for example, and other things. They seem season shop-like.
Yes, they do. They do. So using some tech that we had, we were able to mimic a season shop of sorts. I haven't seen many comments about bring back the season shop or bring back the festival shop. So I guess people didn't like it that much. But yeah, let's see. With June, of course, there's the way to get the tombstone, which is through another season shop-like event. And you can earn those tokens by playing how you want to play. So it's like the season shop, but however you want to get those tokens, you can get them. With some limitations like this. You can't buy multiple of one thing. It's hard to track how many you need to get to the next parts. And it had a different design, but yeah, we don't see as many comments for bring back season shop. Still.
Until this video.
Yeah.
Until now.
thing.
Wait till the conversation right now. It's just like, what does he mean? We've been asking for this every single day.
Come on, ask for it.
Yeah.
We saw.
We would have done it.
I think people just most of the people didn't maybe recognize that rewards from the season shop are still in the game. So they are like, oh, they just took our rewards away, but they're still in the game, just in different spots.
Yeah.
So,
and even things like a lot of rewards have shifted over the last year. When you look at books, elite wild cards, and some of these things, of course the wild shards went into the pass, books disappeared. So the kind of big rewards that people are buying in the shop no longer exist or are in different places for sure.
In that sense, people were able to see all the rewards they had available at the same time. And right now they are spaced week at a time. So it's a bit harder to get the bigger picture of what you're getting across the whole season.
Yeah.
So
Great
maybe
segue.
that's why people thought they were getting less than before, because they couldn't see what they were getting next week.
Yeah. It's hard as a player when you can go in the season shop, you see all these cool rewards and it feels exciting. It's hard to tell, like you said, when those rewards get moved to different parts of the game. And then you get them one at a time. It's hard to feel that same effect, you're still getting the same stuff. But I actually kind of appreciate, the season shop is cool, but it also became a grind. After several months in a row, it was to the point of I really kind of dislike when games do this, where it's you feel you have to play it, otherwise you'll miss out on a reward. And you feel okay, it's the weekend, I want to just rest or whatever. But then it's no, I have to get on and play to earn my cap. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose out on those rewards, and now it becomes more of a chore to go in there and get those rewards and get those tokens. So having the rewards shifted to you earn those rewards doing the things that you're already doing instead of having to work extra for those rewards now makes it so much kind of easier. But I feel like it's hard to kind of like really like trust that you're still getting all of those rewards in their entirety through those like extra game modes, because they feel like so spaced out. Yeah, it's hard to feel it.
It's part of what I think we wanted to talk about in this section a little bit, is that, I guess, discoverability. So it's like the surfacing of information, right? And it's part of what we're exploring, I guess, with this new tab design as well, which is, you know, to your point, knowing where things are happening in the season. What do I need to do? What's coming up? Like having a clearer picture of that. Right now, you know, maybe if you're following us on social media, you might see like the summary, but a lot of players are not following us on social media and they will not see that. So that information right now is not surfaced very well within the game, to be quite frank, and that's something that we want to resolve.
Yeah.
So,
I was just thinking like when the season shop was removed, like in that update, like I can't remember what exactly happened, but like when you log in, like if there was like an in-game pop-up that was like, hey, season shop has been removed, the rewards are now like in these game modes, and then like would actively like communicate like where the rewards were going for players to understand, like in game would help. I think people I can't remember if that was like
it was a thing. Yeah, there was a thing, and it was had a kind of, you could swipe and there was a bit more information, but it told you it would be distributed through different places, maybe not the exact specifics, so through events or something like that. So you would still get those people. I remember seeing every month whenever I planned the event on Reddit saying, hey, where are my shards? Where are those free shards for the month? And they would come in the week after, but you just don't know. You don't know when that event starts. So this is with the 5th tab, when you talk about like what's happening in the season, when is it starting, what have I missed, what are the big rewards to look for, like what is the season even about, like where do I find the bowler, where do I find this other hero? So like the 5th tab is going to move to a place where all of this information is at a glance, and you can choose the activities you want, plan your actual season in full, and see what rewards you're gonna kind of have the option to get.
Yeah. How do you feel about the game mode switcher in the way that it was?
The game mode switcher, it has its limitations, of course. So like there's even a lot of people, even on the creator side, where like, oh, hey, I didn't know that league started or the global tournament started because it's hidden. Like there might be a bug right now, but I think there's at the moment just a notification badge to say something's new. When you go into the switcher, you'll see a label that says a new event. But it doesn't work that effectively. And for people that don't even know it scrolls, like a lot of stuff is hidden kind of below the fold. So when we talk about having a place to see what's coming in the season, that includes game modes. Even if they link you back to this game mode switcher, just seeing when they're starting, I think is important. And a few more improvements to the switcher itself. So that would be really good.
Yeah, for me, the challenges, I just like randomly will go in the game and I'll be like, oh, wait, I'm recording a challenge at 2 a.m. I forgot that this was going to happen. Or it was very clearly like on social media, but it's hard to like follow. So if there was like a pop-up off to the side, kind of like how you have the roads or like the event tabs, maybe that'd be cool for the challenges. That's the main thing. But I do want to say, I really appreciate the fact that the seasonal shop, like it forces every single person to play every challenge. And moving away from that, if you're just playing the game regularly, it is significantly better to accumulate all those rewards by just winning games compared to people being really annoyed that they had to play every specific challenge. Like some people are like, I don't want to play draft for the 5th time in a row the month. And it definitely moved away from that. And then also the seasonal shop, like, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but when you had tokens that you didn't use and it got converted into gold and you're like, damn, I really wish I was able to collect rewards, having the rewards auto collect for you, or like in the event that you're not going to forget to collect those. It's just a lot easier and it seems more streamlined. So I think it was a great change to do that. I just super hope that the challenges that are not as important are still like more visible, at least for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like you get your season tokens or whatever, and if you didn't spend it, if you like forgot for like an hour and you like missed like the cutoff, you would log in and it's like all of your tokens are gone and it's just like you get nothing. Like that never felt good as a player. And then personally, like for me, I would go in the season shop all the time and just buy like the one, was it like the wild shard for like your evolution? That was all I would buy because that's the most valuable thing in there. So it's like you have this huge shop with like all these kind of like cool rewards, but then in actuality, you're just buying that one reward every month over and over again. So it's just like, what if we just give you that reward for like playing and then like got rid of all those extra steps.
Yeah, I think you were even mentioning that there were only a few rewards that people actually claimed when you look at your data.
Yeah, exactly. People always claim the same things every season. So yeah, it was a bit repetitive.
But we have like the festival thingy going on now. Well, let's just call it Season Shop 2.0 and then just like end the discussion overall. Like, hey guys, it's back. This is the Season Shop 2.0.
It still faces some of the problems, like having to unlock pages by spending tokens, puts bigger rewards at the end and allows us to kind of, people have a path.
Yeah.
But there's still, when you have excess tokens, where do you spend them?
Yeah.
There needs to be this recurring purchase. There needs to be quantity. Like it's built off of the current tech that isn't a Season Shop. So if we really wanted to make it a thing and people enjoy using it, then it needs to be put into an actual feature itself.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well. It's, you're almost voting with your in-game actions of the kinds of things that we'll put our time into. If you guys are really loving things like, festival market and similar things that are like season shops, then yeah, we see that data, and it's important that you tell us on the socials as well, because we read all of that, and it's really important in helping to guide us on the things that you actually care about.
For sure. Even the past few, like Magic Archer, Bowler, Tombstone now, like there's been a lot of free like heroes and stuff that are locked behind these free to play routes. And which one's your favorite? Like which ones you actually want to engage with and unlock these kind of heroes? Because there's a way to get them for free. You just have to kind of put the time in.
Yeah. I think we touched on an interesting point before from SirTag actually, which was kind of about surfacing challenges in a better way. And I think it's an interesting, point of friction maybe sometimes, which is, with the home screen, there's only so much space to show things. And deciding what to surface without it getting too overwhelming is quite a challenge, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess, to open up the floor on this, and maybe we can workshop it together, is, what's the ideal balance there? Because maybe sometimes we tip a little too far, and maybe there's too many buttons on the home screen at times.
Yeah.
I just want more shop offers in my home.
You want more shop offers?
More shop offers, more mini passes.
We can organize
Mini
those.
Pass 2.0, Mini Pass 3.0, just all these things being like, click this.
Yeah.
With your code, of
Spend
course.
money.
Coaching. Yeah. But there's a lot that fights for attention. Even when you look away from the buttons, you've got like the shop tab that's glowing yellow.
Yeah.
You've got the clan tab, like after Clan Wars, it's glowing yellow. You've got notification badges up here.
Yeah.
Like you've got new on the switcher. You've got a new inbox item, like at one point, and the background is maybe golden because it's a different challenge. So there's a lot that fights for your attention visually.
Sometimes if I take like a few days off the game and I like log back in again, I'm just like overwhelmed. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, this thing's like got a message over here for me. Over here, this is flashing. I'm like, which one do I click on first? It's crazy. It's getting wild in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the point of like, how many buttons do you have in there versus being too much is like, I don't know. There's probably people smarter than me that can like decide like the optimal number. But I don't know. I think it's too much right now.
Yeah. And even the buttons, like when you compare to other games, there are games that have multitude of buttons with like drop down menus with even more buttons. But it's when I talk about these events where you earn crowns and get rewards, they would essentially when one ends, the next one starts.
Yeah.
And the button stays the same. Like you don't know what's changed unless you click in and go and see that event. Like when everything is always buttons, nothing feels new and nothing feels fresh. So that's another thing I found with events. It's like people aren't excited about a new event when there's always an event. So why do I need to care?
One thing I've noticed is a lot of the events and the stuff that you guys have been creating, it seems like there's more thought behind it. Like the new event that's going to be coming out with a whole bunch of different cards, like randomizing. Yeah. Is that like kind of the direction that you guys are going in with those? Or?
Yeah, I think when we talk about game modes like Chaos and Princess Gambit, like these are game modes that have a bit more time. Like they're not just a 4-card mode or a 7 elixir. Like there's time put into them, and we want to create experiences that are akin to the core game of Clash Royale, but a different way of playing it. So Princess Gambit, of course, is a bit more competitive. Chaos is jump in, whatever cards you're using, you may win. So these are kind of experiences that we do want to get to and also have somehow tied to the season. Like, why is Princess Gambit running? Well, it's the Princess Eva, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk about Chaos, like why are we coming back with another season of Chaos? Like, what is it themed for? Like, why are we doing it? So everything needs to fit within this framework of like, what is this season and why should you care?
Yeah.
I think it's a good point that like transitioning to these like new game modes that are like bigger, like more unique and kind of like higher quality versus having like a bunch of these kind of like mini game modes that are just like 2 days or whatever. You can help reduce some of the clutter by having like 5 mini game modes and then overstimulation by switching to like one more unique game mode for that season that is like longer lasting. And I think like the Chaos mode was like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The most fun I've had in a while in Clash Royale. And the Princess Gambit I'm like really looking forward to as well. And I think it's just like, it's like the right direction in terms of like adding in some new seasonal flavor every month, but also reducing some of the clutter and some of like the overstimulation with game modes and just like being bombarded with different things to do.
Yeah. I think like the most casual players are the most likely to engage and have fun with these challenges and these special modes. And they are also the least likely to engage with the drop down and find different modes. So it's you're doing a different environment for them. So you just want to target them and you want to make it easier for them. And right now it's just not working as well as it should.
Okay, so I guess for the sake of time, we'll move on a little bit. Let's talk Clan Wars. Because this is another area where we get a lot of questions. Maybe we're feeling like it hasn't been getting enough love lately.
Yeah, Tom. Clan Wars.
So tell us about it.
Clan Wars 3.0.
Clan Wars, clans in general, I think. So like the last thing we did to clans and social is make it harder to get into Clan Wars.
So that was the right step.
The last change. So yeah, the social tab, which now has different ways to get into clan chat and Clan Wars. From myself, I think Clan Wars can be somewhat confusing and time consuming. So there's a lot of improvements that could be made to Clan Wars, and whether it's a new system or it's an improvement to Clan Wars, I think that kind of thing hasn't been prioritized. Like each team picks their priorities, let's say for a year or for a quarter, and it just never fell into the remit of one person's. And it lives in this world where people know it's going to be a big undertaking to look at clans and redo clans. So it's the easiest one to say push down, let's say. But I think social itself needs a little bit of love for sure.
I think I almost wonder if like the ramifications and the effect of like Clan Wars 2 development is still lingering in terms of like, because that update took like a year. We had no updates for a full year when Clan Wars 2.0 came out. So now it's almost like this daunting like task of like, like, do we really want to get in? It's like, you know, when you have like a chore at home that you've been putting off and it's this massive undertaking and every day you're like, do I really want to do that? It's going to take me like a month to do that. Or like Clan Wars 3.0, like a year. It's just like, it's such this overwhelming task, but like maybe we're thinking about it too, like maybe it's easier than that. Like, I don't know, like in terms of like making Clan Wars better overall. It's like, how many people even play Clan Wars 2.0 at this point?
Yeah, it's tailored towards more engaged clans, right? So for people that aren't in clans or have a smaller clan, like
let's just do the season shop method and just like delete Clan Wars, move the rewards into like the events, make it so we get it for free or whatever.
Now you're talking my language. But yeah,
like,
I think there's some small improvements you can do to make it easier to understand, know when things are happening, not make as much of a strain of like these clan leaders having to organize everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder like just from a viewer perspective, like how many people like play Clan Wars or enjoy it like actively? Because in my experience, like going through like the Clan Wars 1 to Clan Wars 2 transition, it was like, it felt like Clan Wars 2 just really hurt the clan dynamic overall. Yeah. Because now it's like you have to participate. If you don't participate, like your clans like are getting upset with you. It's causing discourse amongst like clan members and stuff like that. It's like, it doesn't even feel fun to be like in a clan anymore because of like Clan Wars 2 just makes it so like hard. And so like, let's just season shop it.
Yeah, it's a hard one because every time if a team says, hey, we're gonna work on clans, like of course it's a big one. It's like, are you sure? Yeah. Like it's a big area to work on and improve. But yeah, these rewards are locked. Like when you talk about say like season shop and the rewards, like these rewards could be for everyone and in different places. Yeah. If there was no Clan Wars. But
And I think it's the main reason people play Clan War. I don't really think like too many people enjoy the Clan War itself. They just play for the rewards. I think it's the main reason.
Yeah, so we could remove all of your frustrations.
Yeah.
Just vote Clan Wars out and we'll get your rewards.
Yeah. I think like something you kind of mentioned there that was important was that like social overall in Clash Royale is just very underserviced, like underutilized. And when I think about it, I think like social is like such a core important pillar of like Clash Royale. Because like when you look at like Clash of Clans and like Brawl Stars, like the social is this core experience. One of the biggest reasons I love Clash of Clans and I have such fond memories of it was Clan Wars and getting together with your clan and participating in these Clan War battles and stuff like that. It was such a like momentum, like memorable experience in the game. And like even when I think back like 5 years ago in Clash Royale, my fondest memories are not necessarily like getting like a legendary card or like upgrading my cards or anything. It's like hanging out with my clan and like people doing like ladder battles and like spectating and everyone kind of getting together and having fun together. And I think like the social element just creates more of a memorable experience overall. And even if it's like an intrinsic value, it's like it's so underutilized in Clash Royale right now overall. It just feels like the social aspect is just very like hidden away.
I bet that players who return, they had a really pleasant experience in the past, and that's what they remember, and that's why they came back.
Yeah.
Like, it would be interesting to research that, but I would like to see it. Yes.
Yeah. What changed? I mean, a lot of
Clan
these
Wars 2.
features.
I think
So
Clan Wars
from
2
the
was,
original Clan
I think
Wars.
Clan Wars 2 was like the beginning of the downfall of like the social experience because it's just the discourse, like it's not optional. It just causes like so much like commotion in clans and stuff like that. So I think like going forward, like I would love to see social be like a significant like important factor like in the future of Clash Royale, whether that's Clan Wars 3 or like whatever. I think just like the social aspect is something that like needs to be like severely addressed in the game.
Yeah.
Also, with the new social tab, right, it's like harder to find actually a clan.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a friend list, and you need to click there, and then you're actually in a
it's
clan.
like Clan Wars 2 already made it hard, and now it's even harder because it's like you got to go to friends list and you got to press this button to get there. And I'm like, why is there so many like everything's just so hidden now in this like buttons, and like getting back to the home screen is just like even harder. So it's like it feels like we should be going one direction with social, but we're still going the other direction of like. It's still getting like harder and harder to like engage in that social experience.
I'd say so. And then when you talk about social, it doesn't just have to be the clans. So
exactly, yeah.
When we talk about like smaller groups, like invite one friend and do something together. But when we launched last year, the clan voyage feature, so earn crowns as a clan, get rewards. It's not like it doesn't work massively and is also mainly for more engaged clans. Like there are smaller clans that won't leave their clan because they've been in there for 10 years, who can't complete these events and get these rewards. So there's probably better ways to kind of do this kind of thing.
Yeah, it almost feels like a lot of the arguments for like why Season Shop was removed are like almost applicable to like the clan systems and overall like clan wars and like Voyage and stuff like that. Like just kind of buried, hard to get, and like causes kind of like some discourse and players and stuff like that. So
you shouldn't like in anything, you shouldn't be chasing the rewards. You should be doing what you like to do and being rewarded for it.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is kind of the opposite there.
Yeah. I felt like Clan Wars 1, at least for me, was more fun.
Yeah.
Because there was like a collection and you could build a deck based off of random cards. So you weren't forced to play the same deck. And everyone was like, oh, wait, I have to adapt and maybe figure out how to put arrows in my deck instead of the log that I would typically use with Hog Rider.
Yeah, there was cooperation between players. So that was important.
And people were like talking about, oh, like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
For Clan Wars 2, I think that Shane had already addressed it, but it'd be super cool to like remove the rewards that you're like kind of forced to get like as a chore to other elements of the game, and then having like a ranking system. So it doesn't feel like there's nothing there. Maybe at the end of the like month or whatever, you get like a badge based off of your rank at the end of the season. And people actually like pay money for others to join their clan and like participate. And then people go really hard in Clan Wars.
I'm free for hire. I got bills to pay.
That is against our terms and conditions. Ban them.
But it is funny how competitive people are in Clan Wars for a leaderboard that doesn't actually mean anything. And I feel like there would be a lot more competition, a lot more people engaged if there was a ranking system. And it would also help the casual people that are like, hey, I'm in a clan with 10 friends. I don't want to leave it to join a super competitive clan. And I don't want to have the chore of like grinding away in the game for all the clan rewards. Because like, as you said, the clan Voyage, there's a lot of my friends that are not able to join my clan to get the rewards because my clan is like higher level and I can't just like add everyone in. And they're just stuck in their clan and they're not able to get any of the rewards. And they need the rewards more than I do. I'm just like wanting a ranking badge and I don't care about the rewards.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's really rough. Like the people that want the rewards can't get them and the people that don't necessarily care about them can't get the ranking badge. So I feel like there's a solution, but I don't know how feasible it is.
It's very feasible, let's say.
Okay, so with that on the table, what do you think will come first, the 5th tab or Clan Wars?
Fifth tab or Clan Wars?
It's 5th tab for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
That's
in terms
awesome.
of the vision, it's easier to think about what that could be.
Yeah.
Clan Wars 3 or a clan rework, whatever it may be, is
Way more complicated.
is a big thing.
Yeah.
And to unravel, it's what's next for clans.
Yeah.
So I could promise that the 5th tab is coming way before.
That's incredible. We need that.
I'll miss the construction though.
We'll still have the guy waiting.
Never forget.
The expectations are quite high though. It's been like the longer it goes for this fifth tab, like people have like higher hopes now.
Same thing with Clan Wars, right? Like even as a team, if you prioritize other parts and it sits on the back burner for a while, like either players think that something bigger is coming when it does come, or like you're not going to do it ever. So when 5th tab comes, obviously people are expecting huge things, and when Clan Wars or clans are reworked, like expecting it to be revolutionary, which it will be. We always do great stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, like for a while it might just be we've not had the time, and now we have the time, and we might not have as much time to work on it.
Yeah.
Well, Tom's going to have to jump out in a moment because he has some work to do. He doesn't just sit on podcasts all day like me. But we do still have a little bit of time if there's any quick fire questions for Tom specifically to get to know Tom a little better, perhaps.
What's your favorite card?
My favorite card on my profile is Executioner.
Nice.
But I'm a big Hog Rider fan.
Oh, okay. You had me into
You had me in the first half.
Mega Knight. Sorry, Mega Knight.
Best thing you have added to Clash Royale.
Best thing I've added. I enjoyed working on the album event. I think that was quite a nice one.
Okay.
It was very fast to get the feature out. But more recently, this victory run. So if you play with the sound on, you'll enjoy a lot of the sound effects in there. So that was a really good kind of feature to work on. And the team worked really hard on that one.
Worst thing you have added to Clash Royale?
I'd say the worst thing I did to Clash Royale is I think it was my second week. I wiped everyone's decks on Trophy Road.
I remember.
I'm the deck destroyer. But that wasn't totally my fault. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've done.
Thanks for owning up to it.
What do you enjoy about working on Clash Royale?
I enjoy the team. Like the team,
community.
The community is very, very, very passionate, and the team has the same thing. So with passion comes opinions, and opinions sometimes differ. So the team's passionate. We play the game. We love the game, and I've never worked on a game team like it. So where that comes with everyone wanting the best for the game, which maybe is not exactly how you envisioned it to be, but people work hard and people work long to make sure we try and make this vision happen.
And maybe something you guys don't know about Tom is I feel like Tom is a huge Clash Royale creator content consumer. And he spends so much time with the creators, talking to them, answering questions, but also just if you need to know anything about what's going on in the creator land, I feel like Tom knows it. He's seen it already before you even bring it up. So
my last year has been leave work, do work again with more and more content. So whether it's playing, I just hit my 365 day streak, or watching content creators. So or on Reddit.
Who's your favorite content creator?
My favorite content creator.
Oh,
I know.
Why is it Shane?
There you are. It's Code Shane.
Appreciate that.
I think as well, the event platform that we were seeing getting used for the monthly finals for CRL, that's also Tom behind the scenes right now.
Working away, make sure start game, end game, start game.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Yes.
11 hours of it.
Yeah. So I guess all that to say that we appreciate Tom.
Yeah.
We thank Tom. Thank you for coming on our first ever podcast. So
have me on overtime.
And let's not go over time because you've got meetings.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
I deleted all your decks. Bye. Okay, now that we've kicked Tom out, back to the questions.
Let's talk about Tom.
Oh yeah. What do you want to say now that he's not here?
No, Tom's great. I like Tom. He's good.
Yes, well, you'll be dealing with me for this last section, but I think it's an important one because we're going to touch on, I guess, competitive experience around Royale. So by this, I don't necessarily mean, the kinds of things that we see in game that we were kind of just talking about, game modes and things, but more about, like IRL experience, grassroots, and I guess this meta level competition around Royale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been so interested in that. I've asked it for like pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Are there ever going to be more events other than just like the world finals for Clash? Because at least as a creator and like as a spectator, and then also someone that like originally started to do YouTube and everything a lot harder just because of King's Cup 2.
Yeah.
Like I qualified as someone that like wasn't a pro player or anything at that time, like as a invited pro player. I won $5,000 and I was like life-changing. I was like calling my parents crying because I was so happy.
Yeah.
Like I think you have an opportunity there to like create a whole bunch more people involved deeper in the community at a level that they were never before. And you build like these memories that are super core to like, oh, I saw my favorite creator. Like I saw Shane or whatever. He got his autograph on my forehead.
Nobody ever.
Or I saw Morten. I can't believe he's like 6 feet tall. Or 10 feet tall, sorry. I nerfed your height a little bit. But yeah, having those type of core memories, at least with connecting people to creators or events, I think is just like an everlasting thing for a lot of people. I was wondering if there would be more opportunities for those type of events if that would ever happen.
I just have to say, like, I completely agree with you. I agree with all those things. And I think you touched on a really important thing there. That feeling when you first win prize money or that moment when you first, like, you're reaching that does unlock something in you. And it's part of, in the design for CRL this year, for example, it's like we kind of spread the prize pool out a little so that more people would be getting just a little bit of I guess, payoff for the amount of effort that you put into participating in something like this. So, what the challenges are that we're thinking about is, as a team on competitive, is different accessibility points, because not everyone is competing at the level of going to qualify for CRL. Let's be honest. I am not going to qualify for CRL.
Yeah.
And I know that despite my best efforts, it wouldn't matter because I'm not going to be that person at that level. So what is there in place for someone like me? And what are the moments that I have to feel competitive? And how do we think about what competitive looks like? Inherently, Royale's a competitive game. You go into a 1v1. Every experience that you have with Royale is competitive. So it's really, I would say, an integral part of the fabric of like what we do as a game and who we are as a team. And we're still working out exactly, where do we need to go to solve some of these challenges. But some of the things that we toss around amongst ourselves, is how can we support grassroots more?
Yeah.
How do we make prizing more accessible? If you're running, a meetup in Helsinki and you have 20 people come, and how do you access rewards for Royale? Or you're in a university and you're in a league against another university.
Yeah.
What can that look like that gives you those moments of feeling like a champion, without having to necessarily compete at the top? So yes, I'm a passionate believer in this. I believe that the more tools that we can give to the community as well to do things themselves, like it's something that I believe in very passionately too. So we were exploring, for example, more tooling for creators to be able to run your own tournaments, and have them be, a much better UX flow, I guess, for engaging, especially like for those of you that stream.
Yeah.
It's been a bit unwieldy at times, and we're hoping, we can make that smoother. We can continue to develop that feature because you guys know the game so well and you know what your community will like. So let's give you the tools to design something that's really going to activate the people that in your communities and give you more content to do with your communities too. I only see it as a good thing. So.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, because I remember like back in the day with Clash Royale, so many streamers were running their own tournament formats with whatever, and being able to like have that like supported by Supercell like in some sort of like official capacity would be massive. Because like the ability for you to run like a bunch of tournaments is hard. Yeah. But streamers are so engaged with their own communities that like giving them the tools that they need to like manage these tournaments themselves, I think would be like a massive step forward in terms of like the accessibility of the competitive scene.
Yeah.
But then also one thing that that Tay touched on was that like the in-person events and stuff like that. Like King's Cup 2 was massive. I know it wasn't run by Supercell, but I really miss those. Like World Finals is so amazing. Getting to get together in person, meet with like the team, with the players, is such like a fun experience that like you go home and you feel so much more engaged with Clash Royale overall. Do you ever see a world where like we can see more of those in-person events like in some capacity?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times we get requests about these kinds of things from, like third parties or teams or, different organizations that they maybe want to run a Clash Royale tournament as a beat at like an event that they're doing. And of course, we always try to support those requests when they come in. So obviously, we have to run through the questions a little bit of like, how many people are you expecting to be there? What is the structure of the tournament that you're running? And, those kinds of things help us to, I guess, design in-game rewards, for example, so that people who want to run these things can get some sense of official backing from us because we're giving you some things to give away. In terms of like official Royale events, I certainly wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, I absolutely wouldn't. I think right now we are actually kind of expanding our competitive experience team.
Yeah.
So we're hiring at the time of recording this, at least. Maybe we've made a decision, but we are in the process of hiring someone who like will take this on as a responsibility. And part of it covers esports, and part of it also covers what could IRL events look like. And how can we sustain them? Because that's, I think, a lot of the problem in esports in general is sometimes it can be quite expensive to run. And
I can imagine.
And it's a lot of effort. And doesn't necessarily have the cut through. So I think it's like not just doing it for the sake of, but have it be really meaningful, having it be a part of the strategy and the roadmap. And that makes sense. But I think, like we're a global game. We have players all across the globe, and World Finals moves every year. And maybe if you're in the States, you had CRL Finals last year, but you might not get it again this year.
Oh, no. It was awesome.
Sorry. But to your point, what do you do now this year? It's not in your home country, so what is there for you to go and do? And I think it's something that we should definitely explore more as a team.
Yeah, because right now you have that like the road to what is it called event in the game where it's like this like new tournament where people can just go online and compete. And it's like a great way to like kind of bring that experience, but like in an online format so that people around the world can compete, which is like a great like first step, I feel like. And then so they're trying to balance the accessibility issue of like not everyone can travel to compete in these events versus like making it more accessible is like it's a tough balance to like find. But then at the same time, like the online formats, like they don't have the same experience overall of like in-person events. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Like it's good to hear that there's it's an avenue that the team is exploring more and expanding into, and like I'm hopeful to see like maybe next year, this time next year, we have more to like discuss about it. Yeah,
I think part of what is special about Royale as well is that we don't have the limitations necessarily of having regional servers. Right. It's like you can really be global and compete globally, and you're not necessarily inhibited by that. So that is one thing we think about is, what is that digital experience of an event? Obviously, that's important. But yeah, the in-person stuff too. And of course, as you guys would know, and many of you have participated in them, we do things like creator showdowns. That's another different format of competitive. Maybe I want to see you play and I want to see top level gameplay from
not from me. You won't get it from me, I can tell you that much.
But the point being, like, that's a different touch point for a different type of competitive audience. So it's important, I think, fostering all of these different kinds of things. There's a different things will appeal to different people. And for sure. They're all important.
I also wonder, like, I remember years ago we had many initiatives of this kind. Like I remember Clash Nights and many other local tournaments. And also online events. And that slowly tuned down and they got little support. So what's changing right now? Why are you boosting these initiatives right now? And like, what is their expectations for the future? How can they rely on you to keep doing them?
Of course. I mean, we as a team, go through quite a process in defining our strategy, right? And so as we've kind of, taken all the learnings of these past couple of years and, you take a step back and we think, like, if we're moving strategically in certain directions, what are they going to be? And one of those pillars for us is competitive experience. And that's why we're really investing a lot of effort into this and experimenting more. It's why we have things like, these kind of open series formats that we're testing as well and doing pilots of. It's kind of experimenting in a sense. I wasn't around when Clash Nights were a thing, but I heard about it afterwards. I think it's so great.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
incredible.
I think it was like what,
amazing.
like 8 years ago now. Like that was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Quite long ago.
But
yeah.
I think
went to
it's
two
just,
of them.
it's like anything. It's like it relies a lot on the community to like organize those things, and it was like good for a while, but I think it just kind of like naturally kind of just died down over time.
For me, part of what to solve as well though is again, I'm one person.
Yeah.
So if there's a lot of things that need to be processed manually, that becomes a bottleneck.
Yeah.
So what we would need to do to support this better is better release of in-game rewards or anything
Yeah,
that we're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
to support local tournaments. So once that infrastructure is in place, I don't see why it
Yeah.
can't
Let's get Tom back here to ask more questions.
Yeah, but like for sure, it's obviously, I'm a community manager and that sounds amazing. Of course, I want people to be meeting up all around the world and playing Clash together. It's no brainer.
Yeah, I think logistically though, it is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Like organizing these events across the world and like getting people into them and stuff like that. It is such like, even when I come to like World Finals, for example, like the production value and everything, you look at it and it's so like massive. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine like, or it's hard enough like getting my camera set up and my streaming set up at home.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like doing this kind of a production. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like the idea of like having to like to do that more, it's just like, it's a really logistical like hurdle.
Yeah, and I think the thing there is like to find the right people to work with, and the people who can support us. So like bring that vision to life. Is important.
Yeah, but maybe you don't need like such big events. You can do something more cozy, like more pleasant for small crowds.
Yeah.
And that doesn't need so many resources. So
Yeah.
it's just being a little bit less ambitious, but also has a lot of effect to do it in a lot of places.
I agree.
So,
And I think is equally important. It has its place.
Yeah.
There's being in the crowd in the World Finals, when you see that incredible match, but there's also like, I get to know you better.
Yeah,
because we
exactly.
just played
it's maybe easier to make friends in that context.
But I think that comes back to like something we talked about with Tom earlier, was like the social element in Clash Royale overall. And I think that like ties into like the social dynamic of Clash Royale. And like back in the day, it felt like a pillar of the game, like being part of the Clash Royale, like you were part of this community. And I feel like over time that feels like that community has like almost disappeared in a way of like the cohesiveness, like the camaraderie, like you're a part of something. And I think that comes back to like just making social like this important core of Clash Royale's design of bringing players together across the world.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Like, it seems like it's been forgotten for a few years.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that it's getting more attention now.
Yeah.
And I just hope that it gets like a long-term support.
Like our intent in doing this, and also by making decisions to expand the team, right? It's like this will be something that stays and continues. This isn't just like, we're doing this for 2026 and then next year it's new priorities, competitive's not important. It's like, no, we want to invest in this. And I think as well, if people can get around it at home as well, it just will justify as well. Like when we put more and more and more into this. So if you see things coming up, please get involved. Go in and join all the creative tournaments that you see, do all these things, because it helps again, like, give this a long term.
And also get feedback, like what's working, what do you like about these tournaments, what's like, what could be better kind of thing. Cause it's like every iteration is just like an improvement on the last one. And I think even now, like you look at it compared to like last year, the year before that, we're already seeing more events happening and seeing more effort in that regard. So it's kind of good to see.
Yeah, I would also like to have like this live events maybe for like if like new cards, new big updates are dropping. I remember like there was like a Touchdown when Touchdown came out. It was like a big stream of all the big YouTubers like playing against each other. I think that this type of stuff would be also really cool, like inviting some creators and they're doing like a tournament with like any new update, any new cards and stuff. Like of course just here and there, it's like a big update, and maybe just like invite some people for the crowd. So I think this would be already really cool, getting live streamed and stuff.
Yeah,
I think these are like just like small things which already would be really cool.
Yeah, I also think it would be kind of cool to have like a "can you beat me" type of thing as like a creator or a pro. Like
I would lose the very first battle. It's, oh, event's over, guys. Like Shane lost battle number 1.
or like against Shane or a creator where it's like
I completely agree. It's like if you're a fan, that is not a moment you forget. That is something you carry for the rest of your life. So I think it's super cool.
Yeah, at least for me, like playing against Chief Pat and those guys when the first time it ever happened, like I was just like, whoa, what the heck? And I took a screenshot of it, tagged him on Twitter. He got it. He's like,
did you tag him like 1v1?
GG, bro.
Like, GG, bro.
He didn't like it. But yeah, back in the day, that was kind of cool. Also, like one of my more successful video series, I actually played against people in real life. I was like, oh, if you can beat me, you get a prize.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. I don't know if you guys would ever be open to doing that, but
Beating the team.
or beating the team, yeah.
Or like beating creators, like just like
central to where they live, right? Like maybe some people in Canada, Germany, like it's more centric, having an event stationed around a specific creator in an area.
Yeah,
I think that could be pretty cool too.
Or like a creator and like a dev team member play together 2v2.
Yeah. You've seen some of the TikToks. We usually don't win. Creators are usually winning. But it's good. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Yeah, wonderful. Anything else on the competitive front? No?
Sir Morten?
Yeah.
I think like CL right now is in a really good place. I really like the shift that like if you get like just the first stage, you already get like prize money. I think this is a really good change. That's what I kind of was like always complaining the last couple of years, that you don't get rewarded. Just like you need to grind a lot, and you also need a bit of luck to actually get to the final stages. So you're spending so much time, and if you're like not doing it, you're not getting it, you actually don't get anything. So you're not really feeling rewarded. So I think it's really nice that you also get like even like a smaller reward for actually like getting to the stage, which is already really hard.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Well, I think that brings us to at least the end of our topics for today. Mm-hmm. And I'll reiterate what I say at the start of the episode, which is that, this is a pilot. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we're sitting down, I guess, and having this kind of format of conversation. So thank you for being a part of it.
Well, thanks for having us. It was a lot of fun.
I really appreciate having you here. I'm glad you're asking us some tough questions too along the way. I think it's important that we tackle it. I think, what I hope for out of all of this is that, we have a bit more of a dialogue, and I think that we can kind of get to a shared understanding of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is just one step in the direction, but it's something that we want to do more and more and more of. So I think you need to let us know if you like this kind of format, if you want to see it again, how often you want to see it, instead of seeing us sit down and having these conversations with different people from the team, the kinds of questions that you're interested in as well, because I honestly feel like we could have a whole discussion about balance, the process of balance.
Oh, yeah.
And that will be an hour and a half episode of just talking through balance or new card design or all of these kinds of topics. So we've gone over quite a lot of ground today, but what I feel is just setting us up for even better conversations to come. So
no, I think it's great. I think it's a great first step. Like, the fact that this podcast even happened, I think is an example of like how things are going to be changing kind of going forward in terms of like the communication dialogue between creators and the team and the community, and just everyone being more open to having an open discussion. I think it's really like inspiring to see as a first step, and I'm really looking forward to like seeing it kind of hopefully continue going forward, and just like learning more about the Clash Royale like design process and like how they view things and just how they can implement and make the game better. Because I think at the end of the day, like, we're all here because we're passionate about Clash Royale. The devs, the creators, the community. Everybody is so passionate. And like when the community speaks out, it's because they're passionate about the game. Like they want the best. But like when we have these conversations with the developers, like we feel the passion. Like they're so passionate about Clash Royale as well. Like they want the best for the game. And it's about finding like the common ground and like opening those lines of communication and realizing that, hey, we're all on the same page here. We want the best for Clash Royale. Let's just try to like find the best path forward.
Yeah, exactly. I think as creators, we get a lot of vision into what the team thinks and what the team wants. We see under the corporation, and a lot of players just see Supercell and they don't see the humans behind it. So yeah, showing that passion and in these conversations, it's really important. I think it will be very positive.
Yeah.
And also important for them to see the thought process behind updates and like why the team is doing something, because they just see the end product in the game and they're like, what is this? Why did they do that? But there's like a reason behind that. So I think it's like really important for them to know actually why did you do that.
Also learned who did the changes.
Tom.
Now we can blame Tom for this season or for the deck issues and whatnot. So
no, 100%. I think we obviously have done a lot of learning as a team too, and we didn't want things to continue the way that it had been in the past, where it almost feels kind of siloed in a way. It's almost mysterious, the ways that we're thinking and why we're doing what we're doing, and we need to break that down in a lot of different formats. This podcast is one. Maybe the way we talk in the patch notes is another.
Yeah.
Maybe in-game voting is the thing that we explore more and more to have that voice represented. But it's just, in all these different kinds of formats, it's, again, a really important part of how we want to do things moving forward.
Cool. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
The transparency for me is just super key, because sometimes we would just get an update or something and we'd be like blindsided and be like, oh, this is happening. All right, sure. I guess we're going to roll with the punches. But to be able to see a little bit of a idea of what's happening or a glimpse of like the new tab that's going to be under construction actually as a priority for you guys, or seeing that esports or just competitive is sustainable. Just having that on our radar gives me some sort of comfort, and also just like a little bit more happiness like moving forward, where I was like less sure of things. And I just really appreciate this, and hopefully this can continue to happen.
Yeah, you need to let us know if you want to see another episode. You need to tell us. Like, comment, subscribe. No, let's not do that.
And use code Shane.
All right, thanks, folks, and we'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.